Hi, welcome back. This week we are going to chat about ADHD and imposter syndrome. For those of you that don't know, my name is Leah. I am an ADHD life and mindset coach, and I am here to help you through all of the ADHD bullshit. Are you excited? I am excited. So I have my notes on screen. I'm going to pop over here just to make sure I don't miss anything for you guys. So, imposter syndrome. A lot of us have been there. A lot of us struggle with it on a fairly regular basis, which sucks and is not fair. So let's chat about some ways that that shows up, why it shows up, maybe how to combat it, all of that kind of stuff. So I think a lot of us know that feeling of I'm faking it. This isn't real. I'm going to be found out. Or, within job situations, yeah, I did it, but I waited until the last minute to get the presentation turned in, or just wait until they find out that I don't actually have my shit together. Those kinds of feelings are imposter syndrome. I shouldn't be here. I don't belong here. I'm not good enough to be here. I'm a fraud. I'm a fake. Everybody's going to figure it out. All of that kind of stuff. So I think that, and with ADHD, the thought of why am I the only one that is struggling? Why am I the only one that seems to be barely holding it together? That can have an imposter syndrome effect as well, of like everybody else has their shit together and it's not hard for anybody but me. And we know that that's not true. We know other people are on this journey as well. Other people are struggling maybe in different ways, maybe in the same ways, but our brain will do this little trick and be like, it's so much harder for me. Everybody else can just do the thing. And I'm over here, with a VIP pass on the struggle bus. So if that is how you are thinking, please, please, please keep watching. Go read the full blog post on my website. It's leahccoaching.com. You can also sign up there for a free coaching call. If these kinds of things that we talk about in today's video are showing up for you, book a free call, come in, see what that feels like for you. See what it feels like just to chat through some of these things with somebody that understands a neurodivergent ADHD brain, because it's a little bit different than talking to somebody that might be more neurotypical on the spectrum. Okay, so what is imposter syndrome? Like I said, it's that feeling of I don't belong. I'm not actually good at this. I just got lucky. That's a big one I hear all the time. I just got lucky. But the kicker here is that it doesn't matter. If you got lucky, you still got it done, right? So I talk to people a lot about looking for the evidence. Your brain will try to be like, yeah, you just got it, beginner's luck, or not even beginner's luck. Just today, yeah, you pulled it off. And that little voice is really, at the end of the day, what fucks a lot of us up. That little voice is not so nice. I recommend to name that voice. I have a name for mine. I don't want to say it in case somebody sees this and it's their name. I don't want to offend anybody. But naming your brain and being like, hey, look, that's not helpful. That's not true. That's, not accurate. That's a bunch of bullshit. And not in like a mean, nasty way, but just like, well, no, that's not what we're doing. We're not going to do that. That's not true. So why does this hit ADHD brains so hard? Well, because we do miss stuff, right? We miss emails, we miss birthdays, we miss bills, we miss appointments, we miss meetings. We actually have dropped the ball enough times that doubt doesn't feel irrational. It feels earned, right? Because we have dropped the ball. It's true. At least I have. Another reason is that we pretty regularly mask. So we've learned to perform as organized together on top of it, even when we are in the middle of a full-blown chaos shitstorm. People will be like, you have ADHD? but you seem so put together. Well, they didn't really say that to me, but I know a lot of people have heard that of like, people are really shocked that they have ADHD because they seem so organized and this and that. And that is part of that masking. Yes, you can still be organized and put together and on time and all of that, but the amount of effort that it takes is pretty high. So that's another reason that imposter syndrome can show up, because it's like, yes, I made it on time, but you should see behind the scenes of what I had to go through to get here. Another thing that shows up for us is our success can often feel accidental. That's what I was talking about earlier, of like, I just got lucky. Like we hyper focused on something in the last minute, pulled off a miracle, and now everybody thinks that we're competent. And we are competent, but we're also really freaking exhausted because we mismanaged our time, or we scrambled, or we, whatever in the last minute. And we do end up pulling shit off. And that's, a little bit part of the problem. I talk a lot about this, is that we procrastinate and put things off and this and that because a lot of times we get away with it. We do pull it off. We do show up, right on time, or we get the email sent right before the deadline, or the paper turned in, or the prescription filled, or whatever. Again, back to that first point, we do drop the ball quite a bit, but a lot of times we do end up pulling things off, and that's great. But it leads us to like, I can put it off until the last minute because a lot of times I end up pulling it off. So, oh, hold on just a sec. I need to, okay. Sorry, I had to jump over to another screen. Okay. So, all of those things. And then on top of all of that, there's social media. So we're constantly comparing our messy behind the scenes to everyone else's, filtered highlight reel. And when we do that, it's no wonder like we feel like that we're falling short. The bar keeps getting moved. So imposter syndrome thrives when we forget our past wins, which our ADHD brains are really good at. They are great at remembering the past failures, missteps, whatever it is, lessons, if you will. But they are not great at reminding us of the good things that we've done, the wins, the successes. Imposter syndrome thrives when we set unrealistic standards. All or nothing, perfectionism, black and white thinking, all of that kind of stuff, writing 87 things on your to-do list when you actually have about 90 minutes today. It's unrealistic, and it sets us up for failure, and we do it a lot. We confuse effort with ease. As in, if this takes me so much effort, maybe I'm not really cut out for it. I've said that so many times within my business because it's hard. It's really difficult. Coaching, sold, done. Love it. Let's do this. Marketing my coaching so that people know that my services are available. Yo, struggle is real. Imposter syndrome is real. I'm like, who do you think you are? You are not a marketing person. So yeah, having to really talk myself off of those ledges. And I know a lot of you have to do the same. So we're at it together. Okay, so really looking at awareness is power. So you are not faking your way through life. You're navigating a neurodivergent brain in a world that wasn't built for it. I don't know what this world was built for anymore, but it really seems increasingly that it was not built for an ADHD brain. So we're juggling executive function challenges and still showing up. We're finding ways to do things that fit our brains, even when the rest of the world is like, what are you doing? Why do you have to do that? We get questioned a lot and kind of, side-eyed a lot, which is totally fine. Who cares? As long as you're getting your shit done and you feel good about it and it's not hurting anybody, who cares if you have to set 15 alarms and there's Post-its here, there, especially when you're learning a new habit. You're good. Lean in, lean in. You are learning, adapting, adjusting, and recovering. all the time, which I mean, most humans are, but I think ADHDers on a different level for sure. So that is not faking it. In my mind, that is resilience. You keep showing up, you keep learning new things. Your brain constantly needs novelty and dopamine. So you're having to switch up the way that you do things, which is where coaching comes into the mix. You're building this toolkit to pull from because it is going to look different day to day, week to week, month to month, what works for you and what doesn't. Something we've all been in that place where something works really well for a while and then it doesn't and it falls off. And then we're like, what the hell? I guess that's one more thing that I'm, shitty at, or I suck at, or I can't do, or I can't stick with, when in reality, it's just part of the toolkit. And so you can put it on the shelf and be like, okay, that's not working for right now. I need to figure out something else, but you can always go back to that. Right. So it's kind of circular. Sure. Why not? In that way. So just because something feels hard or the dopamine runs out, the novelty runs out, it doesn't mean it isn't valid and that it doesn't work. So struggle doesn't cancel out success. You have to remember that. And that can be really tricky because the struggle is real for sure. Okay. So what do we do about it? What are some things that we can stop the spiral, build the momentum, all of that kind of stuff? So a few ways to work with this impostery nonsense is name it. So when you feel it coming up, when you notice that it has come up again, you can say out loud, imposter syndrome. She back, he back, they back, right? Notice that it's come back up, and just naming it can create space between you and the thought. That's another reason why I tell people to name that voice, because it creates a little bit of space. And so you can be like, hey, don't talk to me like that. But it's just your brain the whole time. Huh, who knew? Shocker. Okay. Keep a proof folder, right? Because our brain, like I said earlier, our brains will hold on to the negative, no problem. We do not need a folder for that. We're good. But the successes and the wins are harder for us to hold on to. So I recommend a notes app that says my wins, or proof that I'm not a fuck up, proof that I'm not an imposter, proof that I deserve to be here, whatever you want to title it. I don't suck. The I don't suck files. How's that? And then save your wins. So you get compliments, put them in there. If you get messages from friends or coworkers or emails from clients or your kids, your partner, whatever it might look like, things that you have done really well. And it can literally be small stuff like, I filled my prescriptions on time and didn't have to go a day without. Right? It can be small stuff. It doesn't have to be these huge, graduated with my doctorate in, even though that's amazing. Well done. It can be all across the spectrum of really small wins all the way up to really huge wins. But keeping track of them and reminding yourself that you are capable, you are strong, you are smart, you are resilient, you are persistent is really important for our ADHD brains. And the more you train that muscle to look for the strength, the resilience, the wins, the more your brain will be like, oh, okay, that's a safe place to go. It's safe to look at the wins, because our brains equate looking at the negativity with safety. If I look out for the negative, it will keep me safe because I'll always kind of be in fight or flight. Right? So we want to help get into that more rest and digest with the wins, with the safety, all of that kind of stuff. Stop feeding the comparison beast. This one is kind of tricky because we're constantly seeing other humans, whether it's in person, whether it's online, all of that kind of stuff. But I think most of that comes from social media, a lot of that comparison. So curate your feeds. You have control over who and what and when and why you see things for the most part. So follow people who share the messiness as well as the highlight reel. That's why this podcast, if that's what we're going to call it, is called ADHD Unedited, because I don't want to edit it. I would rather start over. Oh, that's not true either. I don't want to start over. I would rather just muddle through. I don't want to have to go back and edit it. That gave me a lot of anxiety going into this project of like, I really want to do this. I want to be able to talk to the people, give them what they want, but I don't want to have to go in and edit and make sure that it's perfect. That is so exhausting to me. Perfect doesn't exist. I am certainly not perfect. And so if I kind of mumble over my words or get lost in my notes or whatever it is, I trust that you guys will be able to see past that. Hopefully it will be just like a quick little, blubber moment, blooper moment, and that you guys will continue to follow along. That's the hope anyway. Let me know. Let me know your thoughts on ADHD unedited, where I'm not editing these things. So yeah, look at who you're following. Look at the content that you're seeing. Is it stuff that makes you feel good? Is it stuff that makes you feel like shit? Is it stuff that makes you feel inadequate? Look at that and then act accordingly. Unfollow, hide, mute, whatever it is that you need to do. Comparison is a liar. And what's the saying? Comparison is the thief of joy. Yeah, it definitely can be. And I think it's the thief of focus. It can really kind of derail us and take away from who we are, who we want to be. I want to be, and I really struggle with this. And this is my ADHD showing up. I want to be 100 different versions. I want to be Martha Stewart and like everything is perfect and prim and proper, and I can bake and I can decorate and I can do all the things. I want to be like free love flower child following around, fish and have locks in my hair and tattoos, and like I want to be so many different versions, and sometimes that can pull away from like, yeah, but who am I actually? And that's a whole different podcast. We'll get to that eventually. And then talking about it. So shame thrives in silence. If you've ever had like a situation where you're feeling, whatever it is, shame, guilt, all of those kind of things, and you have somebody that you can chat to about this, a lot of times it will bring the shame down at least a little bit. And again, we're not trying to fully eradicate all of these things. That would be great. But again, going back to those realistic expectations, that's not exactly realistic. So we want to reduce these feelings. We want to kind of mitigate what we're going through, and talking about it really does help. So saying it out loud to somebody who gets it. If you don't have somebody who gets it, schedule the free call. Call me. I will walk you through some of this. I promise I get it. I might not be in your exact circumstance. I might not have your exact same lived experience. In fact, I'm certain that I don't, because nobody does, but give me a call. If that doesn't work for you, if you don't want to do that, journal. Get it out of your head. That can be a really great way of self-coaching, is journaling. This is what I'm feeling. This is why I'm feeling it. This is what's going on. And then, like I said, if it does have that imposter syndrome showing up, I'm a fraud, I'm a fake, find the evidence against it. Okay. So let's wrap it up. Basically, your brain might tell you that you are a fraud, that you're barely scraping by, that you're the only one struggling this hard, but that voice is not a truth teller. That is old programming. You're not faking it. You're doing it. You're showing up. You're doing it in your own way, what makes sense for you, with your brain, with your life. So with, all of your own chaos and your brand of ADHD, lean into it. Lean into what works for you and not, maybe for somebody else, your mom, your brother, your dad, your sister, your brother, whoever. Lean into what works for your brain and look at where you do show up. Look at where your strengths are, because they're going to be different. And trying to square peg round hole is going to end up making you feel like a fraud every single time. So really kind of lean into, where is your zone of genius? What are you good at? What is not your thing? Totally fine. all is well. Okay, that is it for today. Please keep following along. Let me know what you guys want to hear about, what you want to talk about. Like I said, if you want to read the full Momentum Monday email, go over to my blog, Momentum Monday. It's on my website, leahccoaching.com. Follow along on Instagram. It's ADHD Coach Leah. Yeah. And remember, you're not a fraud. You're supposed to be here. You're exactly where you're supposed to be. All is well. And I love you. Okay. See you soon. Bye.